Well, the New Delhi mission covers most of India. I want to say it covers about 25 of India's 29 states. It covers Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. As far as missionaries serving there go, it's mostly centralized in New Delhi and Mumbai. There's, I guess it's going to be a stake in about 3 days now, but there's one district in New Delhi with 7 branches, and then another branch in Mumbai and a branch in Kolkata. So that's about the church there. The mission is about 10 years old now, so still fairly new. It's, India itself and in New Delhi, it's very strongly Hindu, a very big Hindu majority. And so in the Hindu religion, they believe in many, many different gods. And that's the majority there. You also have Muslims, you have Sikhs, there's Christians, Jews. So there's a lot of religious diversity, especially in Delhi, the city itself. And so with a lot of people, as you talk to them, they're very open about religion, open to discuss religion. Not often we get shut down in just a religious conversation. People are usually very willing to talk about it and to hear your side and to try and understand where you're coming from. I think a lot of it is they just, especially in Hinduism, they're very accepting. Very often they'd say, I'm Hindu, I believe in my gods, and I also believe in your gods. And so yeah, tell me more about them, and I'll believe. So it's very interesting, kind of that dynamic. Well, something that a lot of people find interesting is the mission there is an English-speaking mission. We teach in English. We find people who speak English and baptize them. And so not everyone in India does speak English, but there is a majority that do. In fact, it's interesting to think that there are more Indians that speak English than there are Americans, just because there's so many more of them. So that was something that was interesting, is we taught in English, we baptized people that spoke English, and that's how the church is run, is all in English. And so if you or I were to go there to visit church on a Sunday, we would understand everything being said in the sacrament meeting, and we'd be right at home. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but that's how it is right now. With the temple, the nearest temple right now is the Hong Kong temple. So members have to make a pretty big sacrifice to be able to travel all the way to there to do their temple work, to be able to be sealed as a family, to have their marriages there. It's a very, very big occasion in the families. And I remember, especially in visiting with members, that was the highlight of their lives, was that one trip they got to make to the temple, or when they got to go with their families and visit. And it's something that they love to talk about, they love to discuss, they love to remember and reflect on that opportunity, because it's not one they get to repeat over and over again. It's one that they had, half a week to be there and to stay and to enjoy the temple while they were there. The church is very good about helping them. If members maybe are in need financially, then the church asks them to save up as best they can for a full year, and then the church will help fill in the rest to make sure they have that opportunity to go. Well, a big thing we started doing is we were teaching English class, because that's something where the Indian people are very driven to learn, to improve themselves, to gain knowledge. And so teaching an English class was a way that we really tried to help the communities, and also tried to find ways to candidly tell people why we were there, that we were there to teach about Jesus Christ. Of course, that was separate from the English class. But that was something we did a lot. One thing that I remember is, especially during the summer months, as we do door knockings or different finding techniques, pretty much everyone will invite you in for a glass of water. Really, you knock on a door, complete strangers, and they'll invite you in to have a drink. And so it was a really easy way to get to know people, to talk with them, try and start kind of a relationship, just to let them know that you're just a normal person, and you're just here to share a special message. So that was something that was really effective. Not to trick them into letting you in, but just being there and talking to them and asking if you could share a message, as they're being so hospitable and so welcoming. So that's something I definitely continue to take advantage of. It's just being, I don't know, just being a friend to them. They're all willing to talk to you. They're all willing to be your friend. They're all willing to take the time and give you the opportunity to talk with them. So that's something I'd take advantage of if I went back again. Yeah, you have to be a little careful, especially as missionaries there. The kind of the ideas of conversion is very frowned upon. It's looked down on. And so kind of the way that you approach different things, you have to be careful with how you go about it. You don't want to go around, I don't know, asking people to change their religion, because that's something that they have very strong cultural and family ties to their religion. It's passed down from father to mother and son, and through families continuously. Their religion's a huge identifier for them. And so people really don't like the idea of converting to a different religion. And there's been a lot of different issues in the history and the past of India that go along with that. They've kind of built up that stigma. And so that's something that's important to kind of recognize that, but then also recognize that as you teach them, you'll be able to have opportunities to testify to them of the truth. And yeah, you don't have to walk up as you knock on their door and tell them you're here to change their religion or to change their God, but eventually that they'll be open to that idea. But just initially, a lot of people are very closed off about changing their religion. I think another thing as missionaries there is no one knows you. No one knows who you are or what you're doing or why you're there. Most people assume you're students or you're there working and doing something. And so it's very easy to start a conversation that way, explaining who you are and what you're there for. And a lot of people will love to hear that. But a lot of people also, if you come on too strong, will kind of shut down. I don't know, if they get kind of that vibe from you that you're just there to try and boost your numbers, so to speak. So I served from 2015 to 2017, and I served for 18 months in New Delhi. I guess the other 6 months were split between Rochester, New York, visa waiting, and then also Angeles, Philippines, visa waiting. So kind of a little bit of a mix there, but